For the first time in 12 years, Goldberg was live on Raw. And what exactly is a sparkle crotch, and is it contagious? It's time to find out as WGS-TV reviews Monday Night Raw for the week of October 17th, 2016. Hey YouTube, are you ready for your hot tag? Because if you aren't, it's definitely time to warp.
What is up, guys? It's Cartman here, and you're watching WGS-TV.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of WGS-TV. I'm your friendly neighborhood wrestle gamer. Goldberg coming back to Monday Night Raw has probably done the one thing WWE's been needing to do with their flagship show: draw interest to it. Despite how some fans may feel about it, Goldberg is a draw. There's no doubt about it. His name is very recognizable and well known in the wrestling industry. So why wouldn't he be a big draw? Being a big draw equals money and interest in your product once again. But Goldberg's return was in the main event. Before we get to Goldberg and what was said, let's talk about Raw. Monday Night Raw would open up with the WWE Universal Champion Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho, who were not happy with the end of Monday Night Raw last week. And if anyone is wondering, the referee from the main event last week made the list. Seth Rollins would come out to respond to Owens and Jericho and would start the sparkle crotch trend from social media last night. This would lead to a rematch between Jericho and Rollins, which was kind of obvious at the time since both Rollins and Jericho were in their ring gear and Owens was in a suit. As far as the rematch between Jericho and Rollins goes, this was just as good as last week in the main event. So a good strong opening is something Raw's been needs on a weekly basis. What really irked me yet again is the sloppy commentary from Michael Cole. When you no-call moves like he did with Rollins' blockbuster spot, you slight the fans and the talent in the ring who worked hard to perfect the moves and spots inside the ring. The least you can do as a commentator is acknowledge the moves by at least their proper name or signature name. That's just my view on commentary. The finish of the match was Rollins hitting the pedigree on Jericho, to pick up the win. With Lita's interview segment with Charlotte, a lot of the focus was brought up to Charlotte's current pay-per-view win streak, which is 12 straight, which was rehashed quite a bit during this segment. I wonder if anyone caught Charlotte saying the word wrestle during the promo. I was under the assumption that the word wrestle was considered taboo, but I could be wrong. Charlotte would also take a few jabs at Sasha, especially since the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view will be taking place in Boston, which is Sasha's hometown, and in typical heel fashion, took a pot shot at Sasha, needing the fans to help her win, and the fact that she herself didn't need the fans to help her. Up next, it was a six-man tag team match with the Golden Truth teaming up with Mark Henry to take on the Shining Stars and Titus O'Neil. Apparently, this match was set up during the Raw pre-show last night over Rolex watches. I don't know why either. The match wasn't really bad, but it seems like anyone could go over on Titus ever since the advent of the Titus brand. I mean, last week it was R-Truth, and now this week the world's strongest jobber, Mark Henry, picked up the win for his team with the world's strongest slam on Titus. Backstage, Chris Jericho would confront Kevin Owens, which almost looked like they were finally going to come to blows when Stephanie McMahon appeared in frame to basically confirm the Survivor Series challenge from Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan from last week on SmackDown Live. Up next, it was Sheamus taking on Big E, and just like last week, this time it was Cesaro who was on Facebook Live during the match, and the Facebook feed was ahead of my TV, which was kind of weird. Cesaro sure took a lot of pot shots at Sheamus on the live feed, and it's still up on the Facebook page if anyone wants to check it out. Sheamus seemed to be more distracted over the fact that Cesaro was live on Facebook during the match, which played into the finish of the match, which Sheamus demanded Cesaro film what Sheamus was calling the best bro kick ever. Ended up becoming Sheamus getting shoved into the corner and getting rolled up by Big E to pick up the win. Up next, it was Bo Dallas taking on Neville. It appears WWE is doing what they can to basically elevate Bo Dallas from jobber to lower card status to mid card and almost upper mid card as of late. Normally, Dallas would have jobbed out to Neville, but ever since the debut of this new, darker, more vicious gimmick, Bo's been undefeated, and even went over on Neville last night with the crossbow, his modified version of Cody Rhodes' Crossroads. Having Bo attack Axel might be WWE's way of putting the final nail in the coffin of the social outcast gimmick, which I believe is something I talked about on last week's review. Up next, it was Dana Brooke taking on Bayley. Bayley sporting some new merch last night, just saying. Bayley and Dana actually worked a really good match, but it was such a shame that the match had to end on a botched finish. From what it appeared, Dana was supposed to do the dirty pin, which requires her to put her feet on the rope, and she ended up missing the ropes. So a good match, but a sloppy finish. Wait, I didn't mean to say it like that. Up next, it was Braun Strowman squashing three guys calling themselves the Mile High Trio. After the match, Braun said he was going to get some competition himself when Sami Zayn would confront Strowman in the ring before getting shoved out of the ring. When asked backstage why Zayn did it, he replied with, well, no one else will pick a fight with him. And I think it's about time they actually did something more with Sami Zayn. Up next, it was Lana in her hot pink flannel outfit, try saying that 5 times fast, and Rusev sporting a goofy looking new beard, introducing the Rusev family for some odd reason. I believe it has something to do with Reigns and the family values they built him up with in the past. Reigns would come out to respond to Rusev and put over their match for the U.S. title inside Hell in a Cell. Lana looked like she would let her slap just a little bit. You know, you kind of saw it coming from a mile away. Is what I'm saying. And it would lead to Rusev assaulting Reigns, which ended up with him locking the accolade on Reigns on steel steps to end the segment. Up next, it was Carl Anderson taking on Big Cass. Having this match basically confirmed for me what I theorized last week when the club attacked Enzo and Cass, that they were working a feud with each other. Can anybody explain Enzo's weird pink overalls from last night? Cass dominated Anderson, which surprised me, to be honest. Cass hit the H River crossing on Anderson to pick up the win, and once again, another signature move gets no called by Michael Cole. Backstage, Brian Kendrick was talking with Drew Gulak and Tony Nese when TJ Perkins would appear in frame, and soon after Rich Swann and Cedric Alexander. I, for one, am glad that the Cruiserweights are not only being used properly, but they're building storylines to them, especially with Brian Kendrick and TJ Perkins. Now, we saw earlier in the show Lita interviewing Charlotte, so it was time for her interview with Sasha Banks. And as the face, she played it up really nicely. They would once again reference the fact that Hell in a Cell pay-per-view is taking place in her hometown of Boston, and they did discuss her feelings about it being inside Hell in a Cell. Up next, it was the 6-man Cruiserweight tag team match. Now, is it just me, or is WWE trying to tone down the Cruiserweights just a tad? I could be wrong, though. Still, it was a nice 6-man tag match that saw Kendrick locking on the captain's hook on Rich Swann after Tony Nese hit his 450 splash on him to pick up the win. Kendrick's really being built up for his Cruiserweight title match at Hell in a Cell. Backstage, Mick Foley and Stephanie McMahon would announce that next week's show, which I believe is the go-home show for Hell in a Cell, that the main event will be a triple threat match featuring Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho, and Seth Rollins. So that definitely has potential to steal the show. For the first time in 12 years, Bill Goldberg returned to Monday Night Raw. All night long, WWE hyped up his return by showing classic clips from Goldberg's career, from when he won his first WCW World Heavyweight Championship from Hollywood Hogan to when he defeated Triple H for the now defunct World Heavyweight Championship. I think a lot of fans were expecting Goldberg to come out to his WWE theme, but it was his WCW theme instead. Now, I'm not sure why that was done, but I'm sure it's just a minor thing compared to Goldberg's announcement that not only is Brock Lesnar next, but also that Brock Lesnar is last. So we now have the answer of if the match will happen. Now the question becomes, when will the match take place? I think more than likely the answer to that question will be at WrestleMania, which might be confirmed with Brock Lesnar's appearance on Raw next week. I also did notice that Goldberg's exit, they played his WWE theme. Just figured I would bring that up. Now, before I get to my overall score and my picks for best and worst match or segment, I asked you guys, the Facebook fans, during the live coverage last night to send in your comments about Raw, and somebody did actually comment. It's Nathaniel Quillen. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. And, Nathaniel says, I loved Raw. I give it an 8.9 out of 10. Goldberg returning was amazing. Best night of the night. I would think probably best segment of the night. Or best match of the night goes to Rollins and Jericho, and his worst match of the night would be Bo Dallas and Neville. Now, Nathaniel, I don't know why you would put Bo Dallas and Neville in that spot, but, you know, if you're a Neville fan, I can understand that. But anyway, guys, whenever I do live Facebook coverage of any show, WWE or related, I'll always give you guys an opportunity to send in your comments, and I will read them out loud here on YouTube for you guys. Overall score on this week's Raw gets a 3.95 out of 5 with best match of the night. I agree with Nathaniel, going to Seth Rollins and Chris Jericho once again. Best segment goes to Goldberg's return, since it was basically hyped up all night long. However, I will disagree with Nathaniel with worst match of the night. I'm going to go to Braun Strowman squashing the Mile High Trio, and one of them was actually sent a mile high into the air by Strowman, if I recall. Well, anyway, guys and gals, that's been my take on Monday Night Raw. What I want to know from you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, your thoughts on Monday Night Raw this week. What are your overall scores? What are your picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw this week? Definitely want to hear what you guys have to say. Be sure you put your comments in the comments section below. Don't forget to hit that like button. If you want to see more of your old pal, WrestleGamer, you know what you got to do. You got to hit that subscribe button down below. And don't forget, I'll have a couple videos in the annotations at the end of this video for you guys to check out as well. So with that being said, I am your friendly neighborhood WrestleGamer, and I'll see you at the next Warp Zone. Bye, guys.
I knew this stunk of a setup, John!
They set him up.
Mexican Giant goes to the strappery that Flip is being choked. And there was no tag, by the way. And Flip